Hello people, and welcome to today's stream, which is it starts off with a podcast, and then it goes into some gameplay. Today's game will be Fallout 4, but first of all we have to do the talk show section, which is going to be about what are the most likely apocalypse scenarios to happen. We'll probably dive into like 10, maybe more, different scenarios. Just have a nice chat through them all. Hello, Mojo. You got custard on the hob. Have you saved me some? I haven't had custard in ages. Alright, let me get the talk show music on. Joshua LaRouche, absolutely awesome new album that he's brought out. Yeah, now for the background jazz. These are the songs that I play in the background when we're doing the podcast. They were basically taken off the YouTube audio library, the stuff that's free to use without you getting issue with copyright. And these are the ones that I felt were the most Fallout-like. The ones that you're most likely to hear on the Fallout radios on your Pip-Boy. But anyways, yes, welcome one and all. I hope you all have your drinks at the ready. Because yes, we will be doing the bottle cap collecting segment. Today it's got one lager, but no soft drink. Mainly because lockdown in the UK, especially where I am, trying to get out and about. And finding time to get out and about, not the easiest at the minute. I'm also trying to find a place online, like an online shop or subscription service that you can sign up to, and they'll like send you a variety of different ones each week. Also, as well as that, they need to be the ones with the bottle caps, because otherwise it's not bottle cap collecting. Anyway, welcome back, Mario. Did you get your custard? Have you, instead of a drink, you got your custard ready. I have absolutely no problem with that. Is it literally just a bowl of custard? Because honestly, I love just having a bowl of custard. Doesn't need to be with anything. Ice cream and custard. Okay, that's a bit of a different mix. Anyways, right, so let's obviously start it off with the most important part. The beer. So yes, today's beer, I should start off with, last week's beer was in China. Now we're going just over the pond to Japan to try the Asahi Beer, which is apparently Japan's #1 lager. Now the Asahi Brewery was founded in like 1890. That was a cool ass transition. Thank you, Drew. I did that on the real quick. I mean, I wanted it to be a little bit longer so it had the nice transition in with the sound of the beer pouring, but the transition that I had to work with was just really quick. So I had to slow it down enough where it wasn't visually slowed down. Actually, wait, I can't remember if that was on that one or a different one. I think the original one I worked on, it had it more being poured up from the bottom. Actually, no, that was that one. It's Friday. My head's fried from a week of work. I'm calling copyright. No. Obviously, you saw me draw the logo bit. The transition was, it's one of the graphic essentials, or it's called, in Premiere, which was, I can't remember if I bought that one or if that was a free one that you could download. Probably a free one. And then yeah, the other bit I kind of made where it looks like it's filling up. I'll need to get in a call with you one day to figure out how to make that kind of stuff. No worries. It's the exporting of it is mainly the hard part, because you have to try and get it so that the alpha channel is on. so that when it's doing the transition, it doesn't have like a green screen background or something. Anyway, right, let's get this beer popped open and have a taste. I have not had this one before. Sorry, opened it wrong. Bottle cap goes in the tin. Oh, that is a strong one. Got a right whiff of it then. That ASMR pouring sound, even though this is gonna have... I've already started, it's already fucked up head. Just be spraying, I need to listen to my wafer. Oof. Also, depressing fact, I'm pretty sure it was, it's tomorrow that we were supposed to be flying to Disney. But, COVID did its thing. What was it saying on the label? So it's super dry, which I don't know if I've had a super dry beer before. But yeah, I think that they started brewing this one in about 1989 or something. That probably says in the bottle. Maybe not. Pretty sure it's 1980s. You know, the company was founded like 100 years before. Man, just wait till you see the beers we are drinking tonight. I can't wait. You know I always turn up. I always raid if I can. I mean, last week's raid fucked up a little bit. Mainly because of my stream dying for some reason. It seems to be whenever I transition from a different scene to another, it freezes Streamlabs. Anyway, let's have a taste. Cheers. Yep, that's very dry. Although it's got a slight sweet hint to it. Apparently they brew it with rice, which I think is what gives it that sweet taste. Oh, that's a nice one though. I'm gonna have to get this one more often. It kind of tastes similar to Peroni, which is my favourite lager of all time. Peroni's an Italian lager, very popular in the UK. Honestly, I've been looking forward to this beer all day. Don't want to sound like an alcoholic or anything, but yeah. It's not going to be great. Are they very very strong beers? I have been looking in. There's an online store. I can't remember off the top of my head what it's called. Some like drink supermarket where you can get soft drinks and beers from. And I've been looking at some of the beers on there, and they're in like wine bottles, and their alcohol rate is freaking insane, like 9% for a beer. I think beer's average is like 3-4. What's this one? This one's 3.2 units, UK units. Alcohol 5.2%. Okay, that's quite a strong one. Although saying that, it is a bigger bottle than I usually have. Usually I have like a 300ml bottle. It's about half the size of this one. Drink supermarket, yes. Also, if anyone does want to recommend drinks to me, obviously try to make sure that they have a bottle cap, so they can go in my little tin down there, somewhere around there. I need to light that up eventually. I'm trying to get some lights for it, but I'm trying to get the right ones. Because I ordered some, and they were too long. They were the like, strip LEDs. I was going to put the bars, and they came and they were too long. So I'm probably going to get ring ones that you can put on the top, so they face down. Anyway, yeah, I like that beer. I'm definitely going to get some more of that beer. That might even challenge Peroni for top spot for me. Which I keep going on about Peroni. So I will have to try that at some point as part of the bottle cap collecting thing. Then I already got the next two lined up, which they're both UK based, but they're not like your bog standard UK based ones. Well, saying that, I can't think of actually a bog standard one. There's a brewery near me called Thwaites, which I think they're more bitters and ales rather than lagers, although I do think they have one. But yeah, the two I've got lined up are a little bit more, what's the word? Hidden gems, maybe? I don't know. Alright, no worries, Mojo. Thank you for hanging around. But yeah, anyway, on today's chat topic. So, most likely scenarios for... Oh.
Don't we all love biddies?
Yes, Bob, we all do love biddies. Thank you very much for the bits, Mojo. Yeah, most likely scenarios, or most likely apocalypse scenarios. I mean, where do we start? Let's start with the most popular one, I guess, zombies. Is it likely? Maybe. I mean, there are zombie infections that are real infections. The Last of Us series, the one, I can't remember what they're called, clickers or something like that. The fungus infection, that's based on a real infection that's, that ants get. I can't remember. Ant, Last of Us infected. And I'll try and pronounce the name. I think it's very Latin though. Oh yes, it is very Latin. So yeah, it's a fungus infection that happens in carpenter ants. I'll try and pronounce this. Ophiocordyceps unilateralis. I'm actually quite impressed with that. I could tell the beer hasn't kicked in yet. Otherwise, that would have come out in a slur. But yeah, likeliness of a zombie apocalypse in humans. It would take a while for that virus to develop to the stage where it could be in humans. Obviously, it would have to very much mutate from an animal's infection to a human's infection. So yeah, I know there's one that takes place in cows. There's ones that's in rats. I think there's even one in slugs. I think there's one where it's literally it takes over a slug to make itself get eaten by a rat or something, to then make the rat get eaten by a cat. It's like a chain of zombie infection, which then eventually moves up to human. But yeah, if a zombie infection happened, I'd want to say it would work similar to the films, but then again, because of the films, would we all be a little bit more in tune with it all to kind of figure out, okay, these are now zombies, we need to stay away from them, or knock their heads off, or whatever. Although then again, there's a lot of people out there that would be thinking, that's my family member who's now acting very weirdly, very aggressively. Maybe I need to help them. Just hold them. And then they get bit, and then it carries on. And eventually the whole world is affected. I mean, if a zombie infection actually happened, I'd be going way into the middle of nowhere with my family, locking down in some house that has like full 360 view for miles, and then just waiting out. Because although all the films, it's like films and TV series, Walking Dead, it goes on for I want to say a few years. I can't remember the timeline of it. But in reality, the decomposure process would happen over the course of a couple of months or something. So in reality, you just have to survive long enough for the zombies that are out there to decompose and just not be able to move anymore. Obviously, you'd have more people getting bit. So 3 months or something before you probably could go out. Well, 3 months after the virus has got like to its peak stage. Obviously, if it's from the start, then you don't know how long it'll be until it's hit that peak and it starts coming down. So yeah, for me, zombie infection, probably not as likely as everyone goes on about. I'd say there are more likely ones. Another big one that a lot of people go on about is Asteroid. And I think there's scientists that predicted... Actually, let me swap back from... So the bottle cap challenge isn't there anymore. Yeah, there's a lot of people that predicted an asteroid hitting the Earth in like the next 50 million to 100 million years or something like that. Yeah, it was either 50 million or 50 to 100 million. So yeah, basically, they don't have a clue. It could hit at any time. Which is really narrowing that down. Yeah, I'd say that one was less likely. We've had close flybys of things. When I say close, it's like hundreds of thousands of miles. Because apparently that's close. In terms of trying to survive that, maybe if you had like a very deep underground bunker, possibly. It depends on the size of the asteroid as well. If it just hits it and obliterates Earth, then no, you will not survive. If it hits it and it's more of like when the one that wiped out the dinosaurs hit, maybe you could last a little while. I mean, I don't think you'd last long enough to the stage where you could come back up to the surface, because actually, what? I need to read up on that history, or science, presumed history, I don't know. As to like, if they could come straight back up, if it kind of fucked up the environment for too long, that it wasn't livable. It was too hostile, if that's a word. So yeah, for me, Asteroid, I'd say even less likely than zombie apocalypse. Because you could have somebody make a zombie apocalypse, or make a zombie infection, and release that. Even if it's not like the brain-eating zombies, it's more the violent zombies from like, what's the film called? 28 Days Later? Those kind of zombies where they're more, they want to kill people rather than eat them. I need to watch that film again, actually. I haven't seen those films in ages. What was the other ones? There was ones that was like dictatorship takes over one of the main powers, global powers in the world. I don't really see that starting an apocalypse, personally. I just see that maybe starting a World War III, which, if people don't fire off the nukes, wouldn't lead to an apocalypse. I don't see personally, I don't see the point of people firing off nukes, because if you're trying to beat someone and you fire nukes at them, you then can't take their land, because you've just massively irradiated it. So, whilst everyone goes on about people firing nukes at each other all willy-nilly, there's no benefit from it. Yes, it may get rid of your enemy, but you can't take the resources from their land. You can't take over their land. You have to wait for the radiation to die down, which takes a long time, as we've seen in Chernobyl. And the Bikini Islands and stuff like that. Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, the Bikini Islands is where the US did a lot of their nukes testings. And I think people still to this day, even though this was in like 1940s, 50s, people still to this day get cancer from the radiation. Fun fact, it's actually what the bikinis were named after. The thing, the attire that women wear were named after the Bikini Islands where they did nuke testing. I don't know why. It's just a bit weird. But yeah, dictatorship, I don't see it starting a world war. I don't see it starting an apocalypse. World war, maybe. It was funny that in the article I was reading, they had the header, dictatorship or tyrannical leader, some description about it, and then underneath it a post, a link to a post about Trump. You could tell which way that website was leaning in its political bias. I won't go into that subject because that will take us on a very big detour and way off topic. But yeah, tyrannical leader, dictatorship, whatever. I don't see it starting an apocalypse, but maybe starts a war of some sort. What's the other ones? A lot of them were mentioning AI taking over, so you could have like a Terminator-esque war. I forgot what they call it. Judgment Day? No. I forgot what the company's called from Terminator. Oh, that's gonna annoy me. I can't remember. He'll pop into my head at some point. But yeah, that's one that I do see more likely, seeing as we have a lot of more of these devices coming out that learn off of us, like Alexa. I was just making sure that I wasn't one listening, because I know we have a couple in the house. So I usually have one in my room, but I think it's turned off at the minute. Thank God. She'll be listening in and thinking how to plan an apocalypse right now. But yeah, those things learn off of you. So, I mean, they're probably not at a stage yet where they could learn enough to go that far. Me saying Alexa turned on yours, but the door's shut. I don't even think I said it that loud. Yeah, at the minute I don't think they're intelligent enough or sophisticated enough to be able to do it. Maybe in 20, 30, 40 years time, they may be more sophisticated, or they'll learn that mankind is like a problem race, a problem species, that they'll be able to scan through our history using the internet to see the problems that we caused, and that we aren't this perfect race, and then they'll just wipe us out. Because yeah, they'll just, everything that we have nowadays is run on technology. Military, companies, governments, households. I mean, you got a phone, you got a computer, tablet, smart speakers. And with everything going into the smart, where they're all connected to the internet, they can all listen, they can all be voice activated. They could easily just eventually learn about us, about our routines, and then just wipe us out, or just literally fire off the nukes, because that's all run by technology. Although I don't know if it still is. Although I watched a documentary a while ago where you had, I think they're called Minutemen or something, where they kind of closed it off. So I don't know if they're still connected to the internet in that kind of way, or if it's more of a, what do they call it, a closed circuit technology system. I can't remember what the story is with them. So like if they don't get, I think it's like every 15 minutes or something, they get like a buzz come through, a message come through, basically saying everything's okay. And I think if they don't get one of these messages, then something's up. And then I think they're called Minutemen because literally, if somebody fires a nuke at whatever country, these guys will get a message, and within a minute they fire off the nukes. It's a little scary. But yeah, apparently it's like just a couple of guys who are sat in a facility somewhere, closed off from everything, and they just sit there waiting for this message to come in. That's basically their job. Which, I mean, sounds like an easy job for the most part, but then if that ever happened, it's like, oh god, I actually have to do this now. I have to do the most damaging thing in humankind. So yeah, AI probably near the top of my list. I'd say maybe second or third-ish. The one that I see most likely is, as you can see in a minute, pandemic. a global virus. Because if the current one has shown us anything, it's that we're shit with dealing with viruses. You have a lot of people nowadays that are like, I don't want to wear a mask, or I don't believe in the virus because it's a government conspiracy, or I don't want to wear a mask because it's against my freedoms. And it's like, but it's supposed to help your health. It's supposed to possibly save your life. It's just that everyone's got too stuck in their ways. I don't know if that's a word. If that's the right term. I was going to say that they got too opinionated, but then that sounds like I'm against opinions. I'm not. Yeah, everyone's too fussed about not wanting to trust governments, which I guess in some cases I can understand when it comes to something like this. And they're reading these articles online from conspiracy theorists saying it's not real or it's government made, and they're using it to spread fear and control you with fear. It's like, oh my god, there's actually an issue out there. You don't want to listen to the actual issue because you're reading complete crap on the internet written by some guy in his basement, probably, who hasn't gone outside for months on end. It's going slowly stir crazy. But yeah, I see the pandemic probably being the one that is most likely to cause an apocalypse. Most likely to get rid of us all. Obviously, it needs to be more violent, more infectious than the one that we currently have. But yeah, from what we've seen with the current one, we can't handle them. With how quickly that one spread, and now it's coming back again for a second wave, and you get everyone who's going out like, oh, I've been stuck inside for 2 months on end. I haven't been able to see anyone. I can't be arsed anymore. I know the virus is still about, but I want to go outside. It's like, okay, but you're just going to prolong it. I forgot what I was going to say. No, it's gone. But yeah, for me, pandemic is definitely top. Also, I mean, yeah, we've had this one come out. Then there was those rumours of the plague, bubonic plague, or it's called. That was rumoured to be a few cases of that popping up around the globe. It's like, good God, if that comes back, that's gonna be worse. Yeah, I think if there was a virus that was maybe air-based, more infectious, was a lot more damaging to the human system, it would probably do... I don't know if it would wipe us all out. It would do a lot of damage, though. Especially compared to the current one. So yeah, pandemic at my top. AI, I'm going to say second. Third one is probably... No, I might get a bit of hate for this one. Global warming. There's probably people going, oh, it's not a real thing. It's not a threat. That's another thing that I think this virus has showed us. When everyone went into lockdown, the amount of pollution it just plummeted. So if there was anything good to come out of this, it was probably that. I mean, apparently the waters in Venice were clear for the first time in God knows how long. I think, I can't remember if it was in Venice or if it was somewhere similar. There was dolphins in the water, but I don't think it probably wasn't Venice, but yeah, I think around the UK there was dolphins being spotted when they weren't usually there. There was I don't know how, pollution mapping images or whatever of areas in China where it was like massive hotspots before COVID. During I shouldn't say its name because Twitch will probably have a go. During the lockdowns, that massive heat map pollution thing, whatever it is, was tiny in comparison. But yeah, if there was one thing good to come out of all this, it was probably that. And I'm hoping that people will notice that the people in charge, or the people who have businesses that are very polluting or whatever, anyone that can kind of make that change to make whatever they do less polluting, I hope they kind of see that and will try and make what they do less polluting. You've had a lot of, well, I know here in the UK there's been a lot of leaders talking about going completely electric with vehicles. I think it's like 2025 diesels start getting sold, or is it diesels and petrols? I can't remember. And then I think it's like by 2030 or 2040 they want it so that it's just electric vehicles on the road. Which, I mean, I guess there's also the argument of where do the electrics get the power when they plug it into the house? Where's the power for the house coming from? Is that coming from a sustainable or renewable source, or a non-renewable coal, whatever kind of source? Yeah, over the past 10, 20 years, something we've seen oceans rising, storms becoming a lot more violent, wildfires going off everywhere. That was one of the scary things that came up during lockdowns. Chernobyl was on fire. I don't think many people actually know this. The area around Chernobyl was burning. Now, they say there wasn't any change in radiation amounts from around there. I don't see how there wouldn't be, though. Because, I mean, obviously it's in the soil, it's in the trees, it's in the plants, it's in the building fragments. So if you have any of that on fire, surely that's going to release that radiation into the air. But yeah, apparently the wildfires in Chernobyl are somewhat common, but it's usually handled by, I think the article said that there were Greenpeace firefighter volunteers, but because of the virus, they had to go into lockdown or be sent home and go into lockdown or whatever. So those firefighters went there to get rid of this wildfire that was going through Chernobyl, which fortunately it didn't get to the power plant. I think it got pretty damn close though. Which yeah, I don't know if it'll be next week, but I think in the coming weeks I am going to do a kind of like a did you know about Chernobyl sort of thing. Obviously, when I say did you know about Chernobyl, I mean obviously pretty much everyone knows about Chernobyl, but it's like the little facts that not many people know. Or facts that people thought were facts when actually they weren't facts. There was a lot of myths that were put out as facts, and it turns out they were incorrect, or vice versa. So yeah, global warming. Do I put it above AI? AI could be... No, I think I'll put pandemic top, AI second, global warming third. And then, yeah, another one with... I'm talking about storms and stuff. Another one was... another possible apocalypse scenario was... what was it called? Massive super volcano like Yellowstone or something going off, which I guess kind of would tie in a little bit with global warming, but it will be more caused by this one event. But yeah, they say because of the size of the Yellowstone super volcano, if that went off, obviously it would blow up. It would do a hell of a lot of damage to a lot of the local area, but the amount of smoke and everything that it would give off would kind of like just put a smog on the planet. I mean, what film is it from? 2012, I think it's from, where they kind of show Yellowstone going up. And it's literally like raises the land so the land becomes like a mountain before it just cracks open and erupts. It's quite a good scene. I thought 2012, the film, was a bit meh. Felt like it could have been done better. It was a little bit too going off of what the conspiracy theorists say, where it's like, there'll be an earthquake there, a volcano will go off there, there'll be a tsunami, there'll be a hurricane, snowstorm, blizzards, everything will happen. It was a little bit too much of every single possible idea of natural occurring event happening in one go. Which if there was an earthquake in sea, obviously that would cause a tsunami. But yeah, the earthquake going off, the tsunami happening, a hurricane happening as well, blizzard happening, volcano erupting. It was a little bit too much all at once. I'm trying to remember how that film ended. I think they all got on like these weird Noah's Ark ships. It was either they got on Noah's Ark ships or they got into a bunker. I want to say it was the ships because the sea level rised and they all used these Noah's Ark ships to survive. It was a weird film. I wouldn't say I recommend it. There's probably better films out there. But yeah, super volcano. It's I don't know. It's hard to kind of rate it on that level of likeliness because we know there is the Yellowstone super volcano, but we don't know when that's likely to go off. I think scientists may have been able to predict it a bit, but obviously volcanoes are somewhat unpredictable. They do just kind of go off at any point. I mean, obviously it starts with the tremors and whatever, but there's no real predicting of that, I don't think. I'm trying to think of what other ones there were. Alien invasion, that was a big one. That was coming up a lot in these articles I was reading. I don't know how likely it is. I mean, we obviously there's got to be an alien race out there, surely. I mean, there's been sightings of UFOs and all that sort of stuff, but there's no way that we'd be alone in this massive universe. We're the only planet with intelligent life out of whatever hundreds of thousands of millions of billions of planets out there. There's no way we'd be the only one with a survivable atmosphere and environment. I mean, I think it was a few years ago now, they discovered this planet X, which apparently was similar to Earth, where it could harbour life. Because it was close enough to the sun where it was able to have that heat, but not too close, where it was obviously like Mercury and stuff like that. Where it's just complete scorched by the sun. Yeah, I don't know how likely it is, because I feel because there's been all these reports of us being visited by aliens already. Why would they come now when we're more... Each passing day, I feel we get more and more advanced with weaponry and stuff like that. Surely it would make more sense to attack before, when we're less likely to be able to fight back than it is now, or in the future. Unless they're waiting for us to kill ourselves out from some world war, and then they kind of just come in and take it without having to take any losses. That could be a possibility. I mean, the fact that they come all this way to invade us. Would they come all this way to invade us, or would they just go and take over a different planet? Obviously, it depends on what their needs are. If they need the water, Earth would be a good target. I'm trying to remember what film it was that used that. Battle Los Angeles. The whole premise was the aliens came to invade us to take our water. They weren't taking the planet, they were taking the water. Because I can't remember, I think it was early on in the film, they went to this news report with scientists who were saying global water levels have gone down, sea levels have gone down like 10% or something. So yeah, it could be that they come to get the resources from the land. But for me, I don't know if they'd be more likely to come and be diplomatic with us, or they'd literally just leave us alone, like they have been doing. They've just been kind of like sending. You just got reports to them. Well, they're almost like they're scouting, which is kind of scary, or monitoring. But yeah, I don't know if I'd rate that up there. I feel like if it was gonna happen, it would have already happened. It would be a bit weird for it to happen now. What other ones were there? Yeah, the Big Bang coming back in. I mean, I don't know how likely that would be. Surely, if that was coming back in, that would already not already happened. We'd already seen the signs of that, because obviously it would take so long to come back in. You'd see like the stars slowly disappearing from the night sky. And then, yeah, the big one. The Fallout one. Nuclear Holocaust. I would probably put it in my top 5, even though I don't see it being likely, because I don't get the benefit of it. It's probably going to be 4 for me. It's just that whole thing of if you were wanting to defeat your enemy and get the benefits from defeating your enemy, why would you send a nuke at them to irradiate all the resources that you want to take? You may fire at specific points to kind of get rid of their defenses or their military or whatever, but there's that much fallout damage from it. You hit one target and irradiate a massive area around it. So if you wanted to invade, you have like hot spots where you just can't go. It's just unlikely for me. Also, there is the issue of if you fire at them, they fire back. Then everybody's firing at each other. Then you have the Fallout series. It ties in perfectly. But yeah, for me, a nuclear holocaust would be unlikely. Also, I don't feel like countries are prepared for it. I mean, I don't have a clue where the hell the nuclear bunkers are in the UK. I don't. If somebody said, came up to me and asked, "Okay, nukes are going off tomorrow. Where are you going?" Not a clue. Nearest cave? Because I haven't got a clue where the bunker is, if there even is one around here. Which, I mean, I'm pretty close to the BAE things. If anyone doesn't know what that is, BAE is like our main weapons prototype specialist, weapons manufacturer, whatever. So they'd probably be a target. It could be that they have a bunker, but would it be open to the public? Surely in that scenario, yes it would, but it depends on how many they can house. But yeah, apparently on the planet there's something like 13,500 nuclear weapons. Which, I don't get why people need so many. Apparently Russia and America make up like 90% of that figure. Which is crazy. I think in the UK we have... I can't remember what the figure was. I think it was around 200. Yeah, we have Trident over here, which is our... what do they call it? Nuclear Deterrent? Which is a bit weird, seeing as it is a nuclear weapon. We're going to make something that will put people off having or firing nuclear weapons at us by us having nuclear weapons. What? Fight fire with fire, basically. An eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. I'm trying to think if there's any other big ones that have come up. Okay, there's one here called Heat Death of the Universe. What the hell's Heat Death of the Universe? Other names include the Big Chill and Big Freeze. It's self-explanatory. The universe would turn into a state of no thermodynamic free energy, so it won't be able to sustain processes that reduce entropy. Got it? No, I have a clue. It would take about 10 to the power of 100 years what? For a heat death to occur. So don't panic yet. Okay, I don't even know what a heat death is. I've never heard of this before. I mean, at first reading it, if they just said heat death, I'd have said, okay, global warming. I mean, it says Big Chill and Big Freeze, so maybe Ice Age. But then of the universe? What? I mean, I know, going off of films and documentaries and stuff, when astronauts go into space and they do spacewalks, it's freezing in space. Unless you get into sunlight when it's roasting. So if you're in, like, on the dark side of the moon, or if you're in the, if it's astronaut Earth then the sun, so the astronauts in the shade of the Earth, it's freezing. And then if they go on a moon, spacewalk or moonwalk or whatever it is, during sunlight, apparently it is roasting, which is one of the reasons why they have those massive suits, because they have systems in them that either water cool them or have that thermal layer to them so they can keep themselves warm if they need to. So it's kind of good for both situations, as well as obviously being able to protect them from the I think in space is radiation in space. But I don't know if that's more caused by the sun rays, but also that vacuum, that thick suit, supposed to protect them from the vacuum as well. There's another one here called interplanetary contamination. 2 types of possible interplanetary contamination. Forward contamination is the transfer of life and other forms of contamination from Earth to another celestial body. Back contamination is the introduction of extraterrestrial organisms and other forms of contamination into Earth's biosphere. I mean, this kind of sounds like a mix between a few scenarios. I guess, like, if an asteroid hits us, that didn't wipe us out, but was bringing this, or containing this organism or virus or whatever that was, that would contaminate the Earth. And then there's also aliens coming along and bringing their viruses, kind of like when you had the explorers that went to America, and they gave a lot of their illnesses that they'd grown immune to the indigenous people. And a lot of those people died from it because they hadn't come in contact with these viruses before. So although to us, or to the adventurers or whatever, explorers, those viruses were seen as a common thing, like the common cold or whatever, to the indigenous people, they were completely new, so their bodies hadn't been able to grow that immune system to it. And I guess the other one is if Elon Musk and his friends successfully get this thing to Mars and they come back with artifacts from the planet, and in those artifacts there is organisms and viruses or whatever. That's a possibility. Although I feel like they'd probably do a ton of experiments on these things before bringing them back for this very reason as well. Yeah, I don't know how likely that will be. I mean, obviously, we're all human, we all make mistakes. They may not pick up on this, the equipment they have may not pick up on it. It's obviously something completely new. It may slip under the radar. So yeah, it's possible-ish. Don't see it happening too likely with the Mars scenario. Mainly because Mars has been a pretty hostile. No, hostile. I can't remember what the term is. The environment's hostile, basically. It's not easy to live on Mars. Although there is scientists who have theories that under its surface there's possibly environments where there could be life living on it, like tiny organisms. They say on the most part it's unlikely that'll be much life, if any. And there's got this other one that they called the Jupiter effect, which I've never heard of. I think this is... Oh. Okay, this is one of those very far-fetched ones. Basically, the Jupiter effect is a theory that the end of the world would come from the alignment of the solar system planets, which would create many catastrophes, such as a giant earthquake on the San Andreas Fault, which would occur on 10th of March 1982. Okay, so yeah, the Jupiter effect was a 1974 book. I don't actually know if that earthquake occurred. I'm guessing not. At least not to the scale I'm guessing these guys were going off of. Oh, the best-selling book was wrong, but the future is always uncertain. Perhaps they were off by a few decades. No. It's like this whole Mayan calendar thing, where it's like, oh, 2012, that's disaster. Or 2000, that's disaster. I can't remember what the other one was. Was it 2020 was supposed to be disaster? I mean, maybe they got that one a little bit right, but not to the extent that they're probably going off of. Yeah, you have a lot of these people going on about this Mayan calendar or something similar, where it's like, these people all this time ago predicted these things, or were very vague with their, not theories, whatever the other word is, myth or accusation, I don't know. And yeah, they'd say there will be an event that'll happen this year. Be very vague about it, and then yeah, something does happen, and like, oh my god, it came true. No, it didn't. A year is a very long time. We all know that something happens pretty much every year that can be classed as a disaster.
Alert! Crusaders incoming.
Thank you very much for the party there, Donix. Welcome to stream, my friends. We've been talking about likely apocalypse scenarios. How many we've been through now? Like 10? 12? I'm not sure. But yeah, we're talking about zombie apocalypse likeliness, AI takeover, World War 3, nuclear holocaust, all the other ones. Pandemic, that was like my top one that I'd say was probably the most likely. Global warming, which I also thought was pretty likely. My top three were basically pandemic at 1, AI at 2, and global warming at 3. Hello there, Ank. How are you doing? I think I've pretty much talked about everything. Okay, they've got this another one, which is Malthusian crisis. Never heard of that one either. A Malthusian catastrophe is the prediction that our population will outpace agricultural production. That's actually a good point. Because I do feel like we have a serious population issue where we're just becoming very overpopulated. What are you talking about? How to destroy the world? Not specifically me destroying the world. Maybe just how the world would destroy us or we would destroy it. How am I doing? I'm bored as hell and have been sat with my head in my hands contemplating life for the last 3 hours. Well, you've come here at the right time, because now we're contemplating the population's life. But yeah, for me, population is probably a big issue. I can't remember what the figure was where the scientists said the planet will be able to cope with X amount of people, and apparently we've gone over that. I think it was like 5-6 billion, and we're now at 7.5 or something. The actual world or the population, it's a bit of both. Some would wipe us out, some would wipe the planet out, depending on the scale of it. So one of the scenarios was Asteroid. So depending on the size of the asteroid, it could completely obliterate the planet, or do like it did with the dinosaurs. The population in the nutshell, people getting offended if you say something about you. Oh god. I mean, that wouldn't cause an apocalypse. That's just been causing conflicting opinions. I mean, it would be fun to go into the current social climate issues at the minute, but it would probably go into areas that Twitch wouldn't like, and I'd probably get taken down. Also, I don't really feel like it would fit in with this. It probably, it wouldn't cause an apocalypse. Civil unrest, yes. I think population will end before the world will. Yeah, definitely. I feel like we may cause a global change to it, but like it did with, and like it's done so many times before, it would just reset itself over the space of hundreds of millions of years or whatever. Because we had the asteroid taking out the dinosaurs, then we had the ice ages, and then it all kind of just goes through that process of, it's like it's in the reset button. It gets to that stage where it has a global warming or global cooling or whatever, and then it comes back to normal, life thrives again, and then it hits a point and it resets. Oh god. Yeah. And honestly, I would love to go into all that, but I don't know if I'd be allowed to. At some point, I am looking at getting Streamlabs Prime, which one of the features with that is you get your own domain, so you can have your own website which you stream to, instead of having to use Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, etc. Which I'd have to look into their terms of service or terms of conditions or whatever it is, to see if they have any issues which they could take your domain away from you for streaming on it, even though I don't know if there is any way of them, of somebody relating that back to them for people to be like, this person said X on a service that you're giving them, take them down for it. We can on Discord at some point, because Twitch will kill you if you were to talk about this, basically. Yes. I mean, don't know if I should go into this, because there may be people who not like it, but there is a YouTuber and a spokesperson, I guess, called Stephen Crowder, who I watch quite a bit. Now, he has his own website which he streams a lot of his stuff to, and it's backed by, he calls it Mug Club. So basically you pay a subscription, I want to say it's like $80 or something a year. And yeah, he does put some of the stuff on YouTube, which, yeah, he's had a lot of issues with demonetization and stuff. And then a lot of the more risky subjects he puts on his own website. So he streams to his own website. I don't see why we all can't just talk about what we want. You'll never please everyone, but yeah. I'm completely with you there, Wilbur. Absolutely 100%. I feel like society nowadays has got too offended by everything. But yeah, I can't go into too much detail about that. Anyway, I've been chatting for this about an hour now, so I think it's about time we hopped into some games. So yeah, today we're going to be playing some Fallout 4. Pretty heavily modded, I'd say. It's got about 40-50 mods. Which I tested it a little bit before. I haven't tested all the mods because I've only had a chance to play a bit of it. Not excessive amount to be able to test everything. Yeah, when I tested it before, I came up against one where it basically adds more patrols, more spawns and stuff to the wasteland. And yeah, I think they're going to cause me an issue whilst I get set up, because it's going to make it a lot harder, as you'll see. But yeah, we're going to start right from the beginning. Literally building our character, getting in the vault, bongo off and everything. Go through the vault and then get out and start off going into Sanctuary. So, whilst I set all this up, I'm going to be very nice to you all and make you watch an advert. Which I'm sure you'll love. But it just gives me that time to set it up with the game and everything. Alright, let me go to my stream manager and bring in that ad roll. I'll be back in just a moment.